Okay, we have seen what the bond duration means. We have defined this concept. But another point of interest might be what happens if we have a portfolio of bonds, that is more than one bond in our portfolio. In this case, the duration is defined as the weighted average of the durations of the individual bonds in the portfolio. And here the weights are going to be simply the proportional values of the bond prices within the total portfolio. So when duration is used for bond portfolios as a measure of sensitivity with respect to the yield changes, there's an implicit assumption about the yields of all bonds will change by approximately the same amount. Duration is also important when you think about asset liability management, especially in the banking industry. By choosing a portfolio so that the duration of assets equals the duration of liabilities, a financial institute can eliminate its exposure to small parallel shifts in the yield curve. So you can think of the bank, for example. So suppose we have a bank, and in the bank you have basically assets here and liabilities. And typically assets are the credits given to the economy, the companies, okay? And liabilities are the deposits of the investors, like small investors. When you deposit your money in the bank, that's a liability of the bank because the bank is supposed to return your money in the future time. So basically, if the yields, let's say, go up in a sudden let's say decision of the central bank, etc., then what's going to happen is often the credits are for long term, so the duration is actually high on the asset side. If the yields goes up, the value of the credits will go more rapidly compared to the deposits, because usually the deposits are short term, okay? So this, if there's a big mismatch between the duration of the assets versus the liabilities, the bank will be more sensitive and it might actually lose a lot of money with respect to sudden yield increases in a typical scenario where the credits are for long term and long duration, and on the other hand the deposits are for short term and the duration is also short. Therefore, duration is a useful measure, and it can also be used to minimize the exposure of the financial institute with respect to risks related to shifts in the yield curve.